Hello and welcome to Timberdoodle's 2026 second grade curriculum kit. I'm Grace, this is my sister Hope, and we're going to walk you through the components that we include in second grade this year.
So let's start right off with language arts, and the main component of language arts all about reading level 3. So this is the next step after level 2 if your child completed that last year. If not, hop onto our website, take the placement test to make sure you have them in the right level. This is, again, 54 lessons, includes 25 decodable stories through the hardback readers.
We love those.
Again, these are readers put out by All About Reading so that they correlate directly with the lessons that your student has accomplished, so it doesn't throw in words that they are not going to recognize and they cannot decode. Love that. The stories are fun and engaging. The kids like it. Their color, that's been a big upgrade. So all around, a great add to the kit. These are multi-sensory reading programs, so you do get the tiles so that they are able to physically manipulate the letters to build the words. You also have the activity pages in from review pages to making little flip books to doing little games or activities with the lesson plans. So about 20 minutes a day. You're going to, even if you don't finish the lesson, do your 20 minutes and then tap out and hit it again the next day. Just a great way for both competent or emerging readers and also struggling readers. This series does a great job of building precept upon precept and teaching your child to read phonetically.
Next, we have Spelling You See Level C. And again, check the placement test if you're not sure if this is the correct level. But what we love about Spelling You See is that it's going to be short daily lessons, 10 minutes max, and it does a color coding, chunking format that really is going to be a hands-on way for students to get this visual memorization. So my family has never been into spelling memorization because that never worked for us, and it just added to the frustration. And so instead, we really like that Spelling You See does build the memory by having them circle and underline different portions of the word, and then by working on dictation. So it's gentle introduction of these tricky patterns and really a way that sticks and doesn't overwhelm the student.
Next, we have the daily 6-trait writing. So these are bite-sized writing lessons, which again at this age level is perfect. You don't want to overwhelm them, but you do want to build their skills. It's going to be built around the 6 traits of writing: ideas, organization, word choice, sentence fluency, voice, and conventions. There's 25 weeks of lessons, so you can start this in a little bit later in your year if your child's not ready to take on the writing assignments. But again, very easy, no blank pages, quick fill in the blanks, write a couple lines, a daily doable dose of writing instruction.
Next, we have Word Fun, which is just a picture book read aloud that you're going to do with your student to introduce all 8 parts of speech. And this really just helps them to get familiar with what the different parts of speech are, as well as so many different examples. It will just help them with understanding as they learn and continue to add to these concepts. It's going to do nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, conjunctions, interjections, and prepositions. And all these, if you were a noun, here's what you would do, or if you were a verb, you would be this. So grammar disguised as a fun story, great illustrations, explanations that stick, and give your students something to kind of hang these on for later.
Next, we have The Lost Trail. It's 9 days alone in the wilderness. Now, why do we include graphic novels in our kits? Because it gives your child an easy exposure to stories of real grit and courage and perseverance. It's something that kids won't forget as easily, being that they have the visual hook to remember. Also, it's great for reluctant readers. So if you have an emerging reader, the graphic novel will often pull them in when just words on a page won't. Also, these stories will build empathy and resilience. So again, we've tried to target our graphic novels to be something that will not only help your child with their reading skills, but also help them with their empathy and with their imagination. So this is a true survival story in the graphic novel format. It is an amazing story. A 12-year-old boy lost on the mountain in Maine, and 9 days all alone in the wilderness and what that entails. Told from Don's own perspective, and then has illustrations to go with. It gripped the whole nation at the time and ended with a presidential handshake. It's just a moving story. Again, wonderfully done to enable your child to learn more about a historical event in the graphic novel format.
Next, let's take a look at math. So we love Math You See, and this grade is going to have Math You See Beta. So again, you can do a placement test online to make sure that's the correct level for your student this year. But what it is mastering multi-digit addition and subtraction. We really love the way Math You See is presented because it doesn't require a whole lot of prep from the teacher. It doesn't require you to get out the teacher's textbook. It just lets you play the short video where Steve Demme is going to introduce the concept. You're going to see him work it through with some other students, and then you're going to give your kiddo the related workbook pages for that week. And usually it's just going to be about 3 workbook pages a week. If you have a student who needs a little bit more review, those extra pages are included. And then it has the wonderful manipulatives, the blocks that go with it, so that way they can really see and feel the math concepts. They don't have to just rely on brain power. They can actually get the blocks out and be doing the math problems, figuring it out, writing it down.
Not just guessing, actually proving their work.
Yeah, it's mastery based. You really are going to give them the foundation for these math concepts.
5 plus 8. Okay, that would be 10 plus 3. And now I can regroup that. Okay. Now, is the 10 in the proper place? Where does he go?
With the 10. The big blue house.
So I'm going to carry him next door, put him with the blue 10s. All right? And if I want to, right away, I can put a 3 over here where we're recording this. Okay, now.
Okay, next is the Panda Pickagram puzzle. So this is little mathematical shapes that include a bit of geometry in your child's curriculum kit this year.
Kind of like tangrams, but 3D.
It is. So it's going to build spatial reasoning, visual logic, and 3D thinking. Your child's going to have the 7 magnetic puzzle pieces and the cards that go with, so that the cards increase in difficulty as your child progresses, so that they can get this geometric brain break challenge throughout their school year. You're going to be doing about a card or 2 a week. Very relaxed, easy to do.
It's a fun fidget as well. Next, let's look at thinking skills. So I'm really excited to have the 2nd grade thinking skills and key concepts in for the curriculum this year. Again, thinking skills is one of those subjects that we feel very strongly about here at Timberdoodle. It is such an essential life skill, but it's difficult to find a program that is well organized and doesn't bounce around in skill levels and doesn't have too much just nonsense and feel like you're doing
Busy work.
Yeah, busy work. So we love the way that this builds the vocabulary, builds the careful reasoning. Again, it's teaching your student how to think, how to organize, how to deal with different analogies, different categories, parsing different things out so that way they can continue to build on these thinking skills in the future. And it does it without it being overwhelming, without using a ton of writing assignments, because again, we recognize that most 2nd graders are not going to be super fluent in their writing skills yet. And so we really appreciate a workbook that does this in a reasonable method. And if there is a page that does require a little bit more writing, they can work through that verbally, and this enables that.
So yeah, it's going to cover patterns, sequences, analogies, directions, math, and language, all included in this book. And what we really do appreciate, as Grace mentioned, is that it's going to be teaching your child how to think, not allowing the guessing type work, but to reason their way through to come to the conclusion. Next in thinking skills, we have Smart Cookies. Now this is a great logic game for your child. It's amazing that at this level, 2nd grade, they can get a puzzle that will begin with such simplicity that it will say, put the blue cookie here and the blue triangle cookie here, and progress to where they're having to figure out almost the entire board of where to place each cookie using deductive logical thinking. If this one could go here, but this one cannot be next to it, how am I going to figure this out? Gradual difficulty ramp, there are answers included. The cookies are just fun.
They feel great.
They feel like cookies. I mean, you just want to hold them, you want to eat them. But it's just automatically a fun set that you want to work with. But meanwhile, you're just really ramping up that logical thinking in a way that we've not really seen replicated in any other game to do it so progressively, so easily, and yet by the end, such depth to the logical thinking.
We thought Smart Cookies was not going to be available in the US this year, and we almost panicked because there really is no other game quite like it. So we are thrilled to have it in stock, ready to go, and it is really a brilliant set for teaching that deductive reasoning. Okay, let's take a look at the early bird game. So this is a fun multiplayer game that we've included this year. It's very fast paced. You're racing to empty your hand. You have worms and squirrels and birdhouses. It changes the game on every turn. So really this is going to be working on building math fluency, but it's got so many different cards that are going to pop up that just when you think you're getting it, you're going to empty your hand. All of a sudden, up pops the nest card, and you all have to trade places, and it's super exciting, super stressful, but in a fun way, practicing those number recognition, quick decision making, quick addition, subtraction, while all at the same time keeping everyone laughing, and you never quite know what's going to happen next. Maybe you get the worm card where someone throws the worm across the room. You just never quite know. There's a lot of unexpected twists and turns, all the while building that fast math skill.
Next, we have the Timberdoodle exclusive Jungle Hide and Seek smart game. So this is a logic puzzle. It graduates in its difficulty. The daytime side is a smaller grid with simpler puzzles. The nighttime side is a bigger grid with harder challenges. You have the little pieces that you're trying to put in to leave out the animals that they say to in the challenge book. So they need to see 4 gorillas, or they need to see 4
red pandas,
or an elephant and a red panda and a tiger, whatever it is. Building your spatial reasoning and planning and your visual problem solving, your child's going to have to use trial and error to adjust their thinking to figure out, if I leave this piece here, I won't have the piece I need down here, so it must be a different piece up in this quadrant. Perfect for building that logic and deductive reasoning.
Next up, we have history. So Story of the World Volume 2 is your history course this year. If you've not done any Story of the World, you can go back and hit Volume 1, or you can just jump into Volume 2. It's story-driven, medieval history, Rome through the Renaissance. It's going to have knights and Vikings and samurai. It's going to talk about chocolate. It's a read-aloud storybook with an activity book. So you can do this as intensive as you want. And we love the flexibility of this. It's perfect for doing multiple grades at the same time. You can play it as an audio book, which we've included, or you can do it as a read aloud, or if you've got a strong reader, they can sit and read it themselves. So really flexible. And then the activity book is going to let you really go deeper to kind of bring these, the Middle Ages to life for your kids. So we usually recommend about 3 chapters every 2 weeks. Finishes that in the school year. Again, add in, it's got recommended reading if this is a subject that is really jiving with your student and you want to go deeper, because who doesn't really want to go deeper about knights and chocolate? Something there is going to click for your kids, and there'll be some recommended reading to take that further.
There's also the activity pages of coloring pages and mapping, and then random other activities like talking about baking bread, let's make a loaf that's authentic to the times, or things like that. So your child gets to experience some of the activities from that time frame while also reading about it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at geography. So for geography in this grade, we have the Skill Sharpeners Geography. What this is a workbook that will cover weather, habitats, cultures, regions, and map skills in short, non-fiction passages. So they're going to read the passage, they're going to go deeper into it throughout the week, covering whatever topic they're covering. Maybe it's maps that week, and then moving on to another topic the next week. Very easily accomplished, very manageable, which makes the geography approachable for the kids, makes it something that they're eager to do. And I know in our experience and hearing from you guys, this is something that most children tend to just rip right through, and you kind of have to hold them back to say, no, we want this to last for the school year. It's easy to accomplish, open and go, big geography concepts in bite-sized 2nd grade pages.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the GeoPuzzle collection. So this has recently been expanded, so now it's a 7-in-1 puzzle collection. And this is going to include Africa, Middle East, Asia, Europe, Latin America, US and Canada, the whole world, and new Australia and Oceania. This is going to give students a hands-on way to be remembering, but what we especially love about it is that the puzzles are shaped to the states or the countries, so that way they're really building that visual recognition and placement recognition and memory. So a really great way to reinforce where everything is, help them understand where they are on the map, and help some of the geography and history stories to stick and be understandable a little bit better.
It's a whole lot easier to remember geography when you get to build the map with your hands instead of just look at a map and try to remember. It just doesn't stick for most of us. But getting to build at that repetition makes it so much easier to be able to mentally place, oh, I know where that is. I've built that before.
Next up, we have science. So Real Science for Kids, Book 2 is a phenomenal program. Absolutely love this book. 22 chapters covering methods, instruments, observations, models, and testing. And it doesn't require experiments. And that to me is a huge win. As a busy mom, I want something I can pull out, read to my student, and we can move on. But I also want the option for labs. If I did have the time, that's something that he would absolutely love doing. And so this program gives you both options. You can sit down and read it. It's beautifully illustrated. If you want to take it further, you can go online and print out student pages. You can print out experiments and do those. And new this year, it has the digital textbook, which is going to have each page read to the student online so that they can see the pictures while hearing the audio. So we love this better than an audiobook because it's got the pictures right alongside it. And for science, and especially for this series, that's such an important feature because the illustrations really are helping them understand what it is they're reading about. And so if you just played it as an audiobook, you'd be losing some of that. This lets them see it, hear it. You don't have to worry about pronunciation. It's right there for you. Or if you prefer to read it to your student, you can just sit there and read it as a textbook and be done with it very easily, very short chapters, but also very science rich.
I do appreciate the format because I think kids are naturally inclined to appreciate and be interested in science, but if there is just too much information there, they become overwhelmed and tune out. So I appreciate they keep the information
Brief.
rich and brief. So you're not just giving your child a light science curriculum. It is rich in its content, but it is brief in its explanations, and I really appreciate that. It seems age appropriate while stretching your child. What more fun way to add to your science curriculum than by adding an animal a day to read about with your child? So each page will include different animals that will tell you about their scientific name, their group, their habitat, size, diet, conservation status. It's beautifully illustrated. Automatically, the kids like to look at that because of that. You're going to get to know about favorites and even lesser known animals. You're going to be talking about desert dwellers and ocean explorers and camouflage masters. Why do we like this one? Because it builds real science skills. You've taken these ideas and you've given them a practical, hey, do you know about this animal? This is what happens. It doesn't feel like a textbook. One animal a day keeps their interest up.
It's been really fun to watch with our own kids to see how excited they are to read it. And then if you read about their favorite animal, does it have a Komodo dragon? Can we fast forward to that one? But now maybe they want to know a little bit about what other animals are in that region, or they want to know, is it endangered? Like, can you tell me about that? So it's been a really good book for making them want to learn more. Okay, let's look at STEM. So Fischertechnik Universal 4, this is a phenomenal set. It is exclusive to Timberdoodle. It has nearly 500 precision molded pieces. And when we say precision molded, that we really do mean this is engineer quality. Builds up to 40 different models that are going to teach your student about belt drives, gears, crank handles, cable systems. It's phenomenal for visual learners. It's phenomenal for hands-on learners. It's got a step-by-step manual that's wordless. So again, really can help those kids who maybe reading isn't all the way there for them yet. That's not going to slow them down with this. Also, it's going to take the frustration out of it because it's not going to fall apart. If you've played with other brands that are not as high quality, which we've tested other brands, and it's been very interesting to see if I drop it, I'm really sorry, I broke your creation and the wheel is not going to repair. That is not so with Fischertechnik. This is going to build spatial reasoning. It's going to build logic, problem solving, and persistence, but all with that hold together sturdy quality.
With this many models, we encourage you to do about 2 models a week for the first maybe 4 weeks. Yeah. These are the simple models. So they're going to be the easiest ones to build, the easiest to accomplish. And then for weeks 5 through 36, it's going to be probably 1 model a week. These are a little bit more complex, a little bit more satisfying. And you will get your child, again, figuring out that step-by-step building process. And I will say, some families say, well, my kid is really good at building things. I don't think they need the instruction. those are the children that specifically should learn how to follow the instruction, because that is a big component to learning how to build.
It's a life
If
skill.
you don't know how to do it, you need to learn how to do it. And for those of you whose children know how to do this, know how to follow directions well, this will be right up their alley, giving them that quality kit that will help them learn how to build all these mechanical different creations and understand the how behind the creation.
To go along with that, we've got the Wile Coyote physical science graphic novel. So this is another one that kids don't want you to stop reading. Please, oh please, can we read one more chapter? It's going to cover forces and motion, gravity, velocity, simple machines. It's all in a comic style format. So again, you're learning about the hows and whys that will correlate to these models that they're building in Fischertechnik. So we love getting that cohesive understanding. They're going to laugh a lot because you've got Wile Coyote and Roadrunner, and poor Wile, he just cannot succeed no matter what he's doing. Everything goes wrong for him, and yet he survives and tries again. So a lot of fun, a lot of really great science concepts that they can see in action right there on the page. About 2 to 3 pages a week will finish in a school year. Not sure that you're going to be able to hold back and only do that many.
All right, next up we have emotional intelligence. And for this, we include the Picture This 2 book. This includes 20 illustrated real life scenarios. So your child's going to be getting to look at friendships on the playground. You're going to be looking at maybe outings at the ocean or whatever it is, including all these different characters and these different real life scenarios. So it's going to give you the opportunity to talk about analyzing the situation, what's happening and why, what could they have done, what should they do, build that emotional intelligence by recognizing the feelings, building the empathy, and then how to respond to the conflict. This could include open-ended conversations, so you don't need to lecture about, well, next time this happens, blah, blah, blah. You can have these open-ended conversations with your child in a relaxed format to lay the groundwork so that when in their life they face these same kind of issues, situations,
Emotions,
they will have been prepped with a proper response. So you're going to pick a scene, use the prompts on the back of the scene so that you can help lead the discussion. Easy to pull out and accomplish, and again, just a great way to start having these conversations with your child.
Okay, let's take a look at art. So new this year, we have Tiny Easel Painter Box, and this is also one I'm really super excited about. In fact, I'm so excited that even though my son has already done 2nd grade, we're probably going to go back and hit this again because it's the kind of art kit that you can use with multiple grades. It's an all-in-one painting kit. It's got watercolors, crayons, pencils, brushes, canvas, easel, and more. And the activity guide is what's really phenomenal because you've got 20 plus projects that they're going to learn a number of different techniques. So you're going to have wet on wet, you're going to have how to use watercolor pencils, how to do watercolor painting. The crayons, they glide, the watercolor, those are my favorite because they just absolutely glide onto the page. They're vibrant. So again, another different method of watercolor that's really fun. And then once they've worked through all the projects, they can paint their own tiny easel project to hang on the wall. So a lot of different skills, a lot of practice, and learning while also being creative, and painting is such a therapeutic art. So as they are doing all their school and doing all this real life, this is going to give them a real life therapeutic skill to fall back on.
It's surprising how hard it is to find a quality art kit, especially for this age group, but frankly for all age groups. And we spent so much time researching and looking and trying to find the art kit for your child this year to figure out what would be good, what's not just random and what's not just a time filler, what will actually give them some skills, provide the art component without just wasting time or your finances to afford something that you're saying, this was really just kind of garbage.
We already knew this.
Yeah, this is old news. So a tiny easel really fits that. When we found that, very excited because you're saying this provides the instruction, this provides the tools that you need, the outlet, and then your child's able to experience all these different artistic skills through this kit. All right, next is Compendium. Now this is part memory keeper, part personality time capsule. So all your child's different thoughts, dreams, imaginations throughout the year, written down, drawn, doodled, just this adorable little collection. So they're going to be talking about maybe what their favorite ice cream flavors are, or what's in their brain at the very moment. All these different unique little snapshots and inside look at what's going on in your child's head, captured here on paper, done throughout the year. You're going to do about 1 or 2 spreads a week, and by the end of the year, your child will have this visual journal memorial kind of thing from their year in 2nd grade.
Okay, next up we have the step-by-step drawing book. So I really appreciate that this one doesn't advance too quickly. It's a write-in drawing book, and it shows shape-based step-by-step guides for each assignment. So simple shapes, again, not expecting too much, but gonna inspire that confidence so that way they can get in there, they can learn how to draw a dog, a dragon, a castle, a knight. There's no art skills needed, and yet it's going to advance their abilities and give them the awareness that, oh, I can draw more than I realized. So tons of space to practice. They can add their own personal flair and builds that creative confidence.
I feel like 2nd grade is that kind of perfect age to hit this, because kindergarten through about 2nd grade, they're learning how to draw. They're proud of their creations. They're adding on. But eventually, you know, you kind of stall out unless you have a natural gifting for it. You kind of stall out. And so then this helps them say, okay, let's take what I have learned and done up to this far and let's bring it to the next level in, like Grace said, a very gentle approach. Next up is the art appreciation, art history component for your 2nd grade child. This is Have I Got a Story for You, or Hi Gatsby. It's an art history video course with 12 lessons that are 20 to 30 minutes each. Mrs. Beth does a phenomenal job presenting the information. She will give you stories about the artist. She will tell you more about the artistic skill that they had or how they accomplished it.
And the historical context.
Yes,
yeah,
in the historical context. Totally does. She'll study paintings with you and point out the things that made them unique to the artist. Beautiful, wonderfully done. This is an excellent course for multi-grades. So each video is paired with lesson plans, discussion questions, and then suggested hands-on art projects. Some of the suggestions are things like, for one with Leonardo da Vinci, she has your child making fresco paint and painting a scene with that. Or paint what is on your table, your kitchen table right now. Or make paper airplanes and fly them and see who can go the farthest, all correlated with the lesson for that week.
We found this to be a really fun course to either do with the whole family, with family and cousins, or as a co-op group, just because it's so widely multi-age friendly. It's so many kids and parents want to watch and learn about the history and art appreciation. It's an excellent program for all those ages and a fun one to do together.
Oh my, Miss Beth, that looks great.
Hi, Gatsby. Thank you. I have loved working with clay and especially making relief sculptures of you. On this one, I thought I would add a little bit of paint. Hey, everyone, would you like to see it?
Are you going to paint this one too?
No, I have something else I want to do with that one in just a little bit. First, I thought maybe we would do a review about some of the things we've been learning lately.
Oh, I can remember a lot.
Okay, we've been discussing the Renaissance period. So, Gatsby, can you remember what the word Renaissance means?
It means rebirth. People started thinking differently after so many people died of the bubonic plague.
That's right, and we began to talk about a little boy that was born during this time. His name was Michelangelo. Now, when he was born, his parents were so excited, except that his mother was very ill. In fact, she was so sick that she couldn't look after little Michelangelo. So his dad found a family in town who had just had a baby, and the lady...
Okay, next we have the Hey Clay Dog Buddies. So this is a really fun modeling compound clay sculpting kit. You're going to build 6 different dogs step by step. Now, we really appreciate that it's got the app that guides for each build, because it's going to show kids, and again, teaching some of that watch and do what you see. So it's not just an art kit, it is learning another skill of imitation and copying. Simple shapes built into ears and noses and paws, and eventually you've got the full dog. So very engaging.
Cute dogs.
They're really adorable and hilarious.
Yeah, every time you see it, it's just like, oh, I need those.
Yes.
So cute.
Yeah, so again, one of those kits that you're not necessarily just going to do with your second grader. You may want to get a couple so that way the other kids in the family can also be doing it.
So that's a lot of art. What is the goal? Well, the goal is at Timberdoodle, we want to give your child an experience with a lot of different art modalities. So we don't want them to just go through second grade and have painted a scene and that's it. We want them in second grade, they've painted, they've drawn, they've doodled, they have learned art history, and now they've gotten to work with the clay itself. Love the sensory input of the clay, love the variety of the different skills and art mediums that you're getting to work with. And again, helping your child experience a lot of different types of art so that then they can go and figure out what interests them most and invest more in that.
And of course, you're not going to do every art program every week. And our scheduler that we'll talk about in a little bit will help you figure out what to do when.
Test Prep 2. So this is both for those states that require yearly state testing like Washington does, or it's for even those states that don't require the yearly state testing. We feel as a parent and teacher, you will appreciate having kind of an outside look at how your child is scoring on what you have taught this year. So we encourage you to use this towards the end of the year. It will help your child learn about the test taking process, reduce the test taking anxiety if you are going to be testing later in the year. And either way, give you that look to say, how are they testing? Was there something that I missed, something that we should have hit a little bit more, or how have they scored this year, just to give you that overall assessment at the end of the year.
Next, we have the Faber-Castell grip colored pencils, and we love this because, again, we want to have at your fingertips a wide variety of colors, so when you go to do the different chunking and different assignments in Spelling You See, you don't have to go looking for a purple pencil. It's right there for you. The grippy dot texture and the ergonomic barrel is going to help with just developing the correct grip, which might still be in development at this age. And then, of course, the triangular shape is wonderful because it's not going to be as inclined to roll off the table, which can be a source of constant frustration. So a lot of things to love. Again, this is one, as we've tested many different brands of pencils, this is one that we come back to and say, I like how this feels on paper. It doesn't have that weird gritty resistance. No, it's going to have a nice glide, a good dense color to it. So an excellent product.
Lastly, we have the curriculum handbook. Now, this is included in each kit, and basically it gives you kind of a summary of what we've included in the kit and how we would anticipate that you would use it for scheduling. Also included is the online scheduler. Now,
that's the lifesaver.
This is what's going to help you pull it all together. So you get this box of amazing, awesome products, but oh my goodness, how am I supposed to use all of these? How do I make sure they get through all of this by the end of the year and I don't forget about this item or whatever it is? The online scheduler will help you through that. So it's automatically loaded into your scheduler. If you've made customizations, you can go in and make those customizations in the scheduler. If you want to add in more things to your daily or weekly schedule, like I want to make sure that they are going down to the grandparents twice a week and helping them out in the yard, put that on the scheduler. Or I want to make sure that we are taking a walk every evening, put that on the scheduler. So you can add to the tasks if you want to make your school goals wider than just the curriculum. And then you can break it into a weekly schedule or a daily schedule. And it really depends on what works best for your family. So I've kind of used both. Typically we go with the weekly schedule because our days are crazy and it might not get done. So I'm just going to say this week, this is what needs to be accomplished and have that right there that I can just check things off as I go. I prefer that, especially for the younger grades where we're kind of controlling what gets done when because they don't have the independent learning. As they become more independent, the daily schedule works well too, because then you can say, this has to be done today and let them kind of take control over that and start to learn that executive functioning of how to get through all the items in the day. Both options are available for you there. Also included is the reading challenge.
Yes. So that's going to be excellent for helping, again, at this age, maybe you're doing most of the reading or maybe they're starting to do some independent reading. this is going to give you a number of different age-appropriate resources that are of varied genres. So that way you're not just getting stuck only reading about castles or only reading about robots or what have you. You've got a wide variety of excellent recommendations that you can see if they're available to you locally at your library, or watch them in thrift stores. But it's going to give you that resource and the goals so that you can be writing it down and working with your kiddo to say, look, we are almost there. We just have 2 more books and we met our challenge for the year.
I think that covers it all. Again, as always, if you have questions, if you want help with customization to figure out what's best for your child, give us a call, email us, chat us, hop on our website, check out the placement tests. And again, we'd be delighted to help you. We appreciate you watching this video, and we hope you have a great year homeschooling.